Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Words to my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you're having a great day today as you're tuning in. Do yourself a damn favor, hit the subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Let me just say before I get into my video, happy belated Merry Christmas to all my subscribers. Anybody tuning in watch this video, hope you had a great day with your family, with your friends, with your significant other. Now, this video right here, I want to talk about this subject because I've seen many videos about it on some of the pro PBC channels on YouTube, some of the pro UK channels on YouTube. I've seen a lot of different videos regarding the subject, but I want to give my take on the subject, and that's the take of like DAZN, Eddie Hearn, where they're at, heading into 2019, because obviously DAZN was a big thing for boxing. The streaming service, $10, giving you value for your money and all that good stuff. And I see a lot of people kind of saying like, I watched, and I'll name the channel so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and you don't mince my words. Goodfella Sports TV, or the artist formerly known as the Boxing Clinic, made a video about this, and Barbershop Conversations, the man Fred, made a video about this, just basically talking about Eddie Hearn, DAZN, where they're going, and how their days are numbered, that DAZN's days are numbered. Now, I want to see DAZN succeed the same way I want to see Top Rank succeed, and just boxing. I want to see boxing win because I want boxing to do well and be in a healthy state. And I think right now it is in a healthy state because there's good, healthy competition in boxing. These promoters got to really up their games as far as, if they want to get good money from the paying customers. So that being said, I would say so far that DAZN, the cards have, with the exception of the Canelo card, most of their cards have underwhelmed. They have been underwhelming in America. We're not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. They've been underwhelming. Are they in trouble? No, I don't think so. In fact, I would venture to say that I think DAZN is still in its infancy stages, and I would say that at least for a year or so, they're not going anywhere. DAZN isn't going anywhere, and I've seen a lot of negative press on DAZN from people who just don't like Eddie Hearn, people who don't like DAZN for whatever reason, and I just think they're overlooking a lot of key factors. Now, a lot was made of recently, and I think this is a little bit weird, that Derek Chisora versus Dillian White was not on DAZN, that Showtime bought the rights to it, and Showtime aired the fight. So that's a very, very interesting thing that happened. But I wouldn't say that DAZN's in trouble. You got to put things in its proper context. And the reality is right now, DAZN and Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing USA, they've only had 4 cards in America since they started. And that's since October. Only one of them has sold out, and that was Canelo selling on Madison Square Garden. And Canelo's that just shows how big of a draw Canelo is, that he's gotten to that point where he's selling the Garden. But they have not sold out any other show but Canelo. So obviously that's not good. You want your fighters to be doing good numbers wherever they go. But you also got to remember, Eddie Hearn's got a lot of guys who are not draws in America, and the key is you want to make them draws in America. And he's taking boxing into a lot of markets that have been untapped. So when you go into these untapped markets, it takes time to build a connection with the fight fans and fans and people. And yeah, that's what it is. So could the matches be better quality? Yes, but when you have such a high volume of cards, you can't expect every card to be great. As boxing fans, we have to be happy with us getting consistent boxing, because there's been many years. I've been here on YouTube for 3 years, and I've seen the different cycles of boxing, and I've seen years where there's not been as much boxing cards, and then when there's not much boxing cards, boxing fans complain that they want more boxing cards. But then when they get more fight cards, they complain that the matchups suck. So you got to understand, boxing is a business. Every sports and entertainment is a business. Not every fight is going to be a mega fight. Not every fight is going to be the best fight in the best, because if you did that, you couldn't afford to pay these guys. So you got to scale it back sometimes. 2019 will be an interesting year for DAZN and Eddie Hearn and all parties involved on that side, because it's going to be their first full year in boxing. So I think as boxing fans, we need to give the DAZN the benefit of the doubt, because they haven't had a full year in. And I think, if we're being fair, they are positioning themselves rather nicely in the USA. it's a small sample size, 4 fight cards, and three of those fight cards, you got to understand, 3 of those fight cards they had were in what I would call non-traditional boxing markets, or boxing markets that have places that were once great fight towns, but they're not as great anymore because fights rarely come to those cities. And I'm talking about cities like Boston and Chicago, which is where DAZN has had 2 cards already. So I believe as DAZN builds consistency of putting fights in those cities, and they will have opportunities to do that, they'll be able to really build something in those cities. And Eddie Hearn and DAZN will be able to leverage that, and they'll have that up on the other promoters, the fact that they can go to those cities. So that's that. So I mentioned DAZN. They've been to Boston, Kansas City, Chicago, and New York City in their first 4 cards, untapped boxing markets. A couple of things that DAZN has done really positively, and you got to give them credit for this. From a marketing standpoint, that one, even though I think it's a corny commercial, that one commercial with Canelo and Michael Buffer, it's been aired everywhere here in America. Like you see it, when you watch NBA games, you see it in commercials. When you watch, any sporting event, you see it in the commercials. And there's been a lot of money put towards advertising on YouTube. So they're putting their best foot forward, and they're trying to get their product as many people as possible. And the fact that they have someone like Canelo, who is as big a name as he is, I'm sure that over time, as he continues to build consistency fighting on DAZN, their subscribers will go up, their ratings will go up, their views will go up. And if people are paying $9.99 to watch one fight, they're gonna say, well, you know what? Let me go watch some of these other fights, and they're gonna be able to get to know the other fighters on DAZN, and it's just a good deal. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. Now one big thing that I know was people made a big deal about is that Anthony Joshua, or I haven't been able. If someone can find this for me, and any of my subscribers out there, if somebody can show me the interview or headline where Eddie Hearn said this, I will be very grateful, because I just tried looking for it and I had no luck finding it. Supposedly, Eddie Hearn said recently that Anthony Joshua is not exclusively signed to DAZN, and people who don't like Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua, have taken it and they created this big firestorm with it. They're saying that Eddie Hearn's going out of business, his days are numbered, he doesn't know shit as a boxing promoter, and all that stuff. So if you can find the interview or headline or tweet or whatever where he said this, I'd be very grateful. But yeah, apparently Anthony Joshua is not exclusively signed to DAZN. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't been able to confirm it. But I saw a tweet from Neil Doran, who writes for Boxing News and Views, which is a semi-credible site. He said that basically they go fight. Eddie Hearn said that they go fight by fight, and Anthony Joshua's fights are open to the highest bidder. DAZN has first and last refusals to AJ fights. So that's not like entirely surprising, because if you follow AJ, you know that he has his own boxing promotional company, and there's always wiggle room with that kind of stuff. So yeah, everybody's making a big deal about that. But when I think about DAZN, I think about where they're at. I think they're doing some positive things. Like, they have the 2 biggest stars in boxing signed to their roster. They have Anthony Joshua, and whether or not he's exclusively signed to them, the fact of the matter is Eddie Hearn's with DAZN. And Anthony Joshua fought Povetkin on DAZN. Canelo's fought on DAZN. So in a 3-month span, the DAZN platform has had Canelo, they've had Anthony Joshua, and I think that's a great start. They have the middleweight division on lock. They have all the champions except Jamal Charlo. So they have the whole middleweight division on lock pretty much. So if you're looking for big fights in the middleweight division, they'll be on DAZN. And then on top of that, they have probably the biggest fight that can be made in all women's boxing, arguably, between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor on DAZN. So they already got some positive things going on. And the fact that they've been going to untapped boxing markets here in America, big cities like Chicago and Boston, which for a long time have deserved big fights, but boxing has kind of ventured away from those cities. So I think that they're doing some really good things. Obviously, if you look at the stands and for a lot of their cards, that they haven't been a full. But I think as they build consistency, as they build their fighters up here in America, and the world moves closer and closer to making streaming the way to go as far as programming goes, I think they're going to experience more success. But as far as its own days being numbered, I don't agree with that, because just for the simple fact that you have Anthony Joshua, even if he's not exclusively signed to DAZN, at the drop of a hat, Eddie Hearn can say, you know what, Anthony Joshua's fighting on DAZN. Okay, he's fighting Jerome Miller on DAZN. He's fighting whoever. It was only in October that Eddie Hearn was saying that Wilder has to fight Anthony Joshua on DAZN. So, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it's a possibility, and I'm just saying, like, are there some things that the zone's doing horribly wrong? I mean, let's take a look at some of their cards. I got the box rec uh, card from their October 20th card in Boston when Demetrius Andrade fought Walter Kakadao. I don't know say his name. The Walter guy he fought, replacement for Billy Joe Saunders. That was supposed to be Billy Joe Saunders for Demetrius Andrade. That didn't wind up happening. But, you had Tevin Farmer fighting on that card. You had Katie Taylor fighting Cindy Stone on that card. It was a decent card. You had the likes of Daniel Ilusnov, but they're doing good things. As far as the way they present their fights, their commentary team. I'm not gonna lie, their commentary team is absolute trash. Like in comparison to the likes of Showtime and HBO. I mean, HBO's not in boxing anymore. But in the comparison to like Showtime, HBO, Top Rank, their commentary team is severely behind them. They got Chris Mannix, they have Sugar Ray Leonard, and was it Brian Kenny? They have some names, but like it ain't what Top Rank is. It ain't what Showtime is as far as commentary goes. That's my opinion, and I know that that's an opinion that I've seen from a couple boxing fans out there. But so that was their October 20th card. It was whatever. Their first card that was in Chicago had some pretty good fights. They had Jarrell Miller blasting Thomas Adamick out of there. You had Caleb Johnson and Arthur Beterbiev in a relatively exciting fight. So there were some good fights on that card. And then on there was it the Kansas card on November 17th. You had Brandon Rios fighting Ramon Alvarez. That was a good fight. Jarrell Miller versus Bogandino was a pretty missed lopsided fight. Dude fought a SWAT team worker. You got Gabriel Rosado and Luis Arias, which look good on paper. So they've been putting on some decent matchups here and there. They've also had some mismatches as well. They have a long way to go as far as building that consistency, building these guys' profiles. It's definitely going to be a challenge for Eddie Hearn because the U.S. market is just way different than the U.K. It's a lot bigger. There's a lot more entertainment options here in America than the U.K. And then on top of that, I would even say once you go on their actual platform, their website, they do need more exclusive content. I think that's something that they really need to look into more in 2019 because right now, as far as exclusive content goes, they only have the Ak and Barak show, which is, I like it. Ak and Barak. And shout out to Barack Best, the boxing bully. Met him in New York last year. Good guy. I like what they're trying to do with that. Like Ak and Barak do a good job. Then you have they had their version of 24/7 or All Access. They call it the epilogue, and that's cool. But like they still need more exclusive content. When they first talked about the zone and what was going to set it apart from the other options in boxing, it was exclusive content. So I'm hoping that in 2019 that they're going to continue to build more exclusive content for the platform, and that they continue giving the fans value for their money because at $9.99 a month, thus far I think. Have the fights been the greatest so far? No, but they 4 fight cards in 3 months. That's about you're getting like roughly one fight card every month, just above one fight card every month for your $10.99. So plus a bunch of exclusive content, and then the thing I like about it too is if you miss the fights, you can go back and you can rewatch them in HD, and that's not a bad thing either. So they've underwhelmed for sure, but I think they've done some things really right. They're going into cities, untapped boxing markets. I think one of the next cities that they need to go to, and Eddie Hearn, DAZN, someone, if you watch this, come to South Florida, Miami, okay? I'm talking like if Anthony Joshua is going to fight a bum, if he's going to fight someone that he's going to spark out the ring, bring him to South Florida, bring him to South Beach, make it a big attraction. I'm telling you, this South Florida is an event. It's an event town. Miami's an event town. We may not be a great sports town as far as how frequently people show up to games, but if it is an event, if it is a spectacle, people will show up. So I think if you bring the heavyweight champion of the world, who's undefeated, who's got all these knockouts, I think it could be a big fight. You could have it somewhere like the American Airlines Arena. You could have somewhere like the Bank Atlantic Center or BB&T Center, which is like more north, not really Miami. You could have it at the Bank United Center, which is a smaller venue. You could have it at Marlins Park, which is a massive venue, 36,000 to be exact. So I'm just saying, man, I think Miami's the way to go. But they're going into the untapped boxing markets. They've got the middleweight division on lock. They've got the 2 biggest cash cows in boxing. I think people who are slandering Eddie Hearn and DAZN, I think it's unfair because they've had less than 4 months of having fight cards, and in 2019 will be the first full year. So I think we should wait until at least the fourth quarter of 2019 to make any serious judgments about the zone. But so far, some good. So far, some bad. And we just wait and see what happens. So, yeah, that's my video. The zone, Eddie Hearn. Are they underwhelming in America? Yes, but do I think that they're going to, it's the end of the zone? Absolutely not. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.